Spire, I've called it, for that's the image I kept in mind as I wrote the book that would link here. A soaring rock and crystal spire rising out of dense clouds like the watchtower of some gem-studded castle. Now that I'm here and am exploring the age in person, I find it to be exactly as I'd envisioned. Beautiful, yet so very deceptive. From the tower formation upon which I sit, an ocean of clouds spreads out below me. Rough stone steps descend toward them, ending at an empty terrace area. Created over centuries by the erosive power of wind, these steps are so evenly matched that I almost believe they were man-made. Yet, how could they be? For Spire has never had any inhabitants. Steps are not the only example of how the illusion I sought to create in this age holds true. Shortly after linking here, I walked through massive archways of stone, searching for a view beneath the clouds. As I walked, I felt as if the ghosts of a past civilization walked with me. This feeling was only enhanced by the beautiful harmonic sounds heard everywhere I went. I would have liked to determine the source of these sounds, simply for my own edification. But other concerns must take precedence. Having found the flora caverns and assured myself of Spire's ability to support human life, I'm at last ready to leave. I even feel more comfortable with my decision to use this age as a prison world if I must. Yet I am sad to leave it too. There is still so much I could learn about the art simply by spending more time here, comparing the age with my original intentions for it. Unfortunately, once I link away, dropping my Myst book into the clouds as I leave, I know I will never be back. And I truly must go, for I still have another prison age to investigate. Never be discouraged by a mistake, Atris. My grandmother, Anna, always used to say. Strive to learn from it instead, and you will achieve great things. Today on Haven, I saw my grandmother's words become truth. The broken ship merged into the causeway near Haven's coastline is exactly what I'd hoped it would be. A promise of intrigue and adventure, so palatable it made my own heart race with excitement to see it. I thought of how much fun the boys I'd met in Stoneship Age, Emmett, Branch, and Will, would have had playing in it, and almost wish I could bring their children here to do so. But Haven must remain off-limits to all if it's to become the prison world I wrote it to be. My sole foray into the age has proved it to be capable of supporting human life, though of course none exists there at this time. Much of Haven's interior is comprised of a dense tropical rainforest, which is obviously teeming with beasts. I saw several as I explored, though they usually kept their distance. A few of the fruit eaters did stare at me curiously as I made my way under their nests. No doubt, having never encountered a human being before, they did not think to fear me. They might even have summoned the courage to become friends had I stayed there any longer. Alas, I could not, for the weight of urgency was upon me, having convinced myself of the need to protect my Myst library should some overly greedy explorer stumble onto it. I felt it necessary to link home very quickly, taking only a few brief minutes to watch the sun set over Haven's freshwater lake. I swam out to the middle and linked away. By now, the linking book I used will have sunk underwater and have been destroyed. Consequently, there remains but one task to finish before I can sleep. I must write 2 additional linking books tonight, one for Haven and one for Spire, my other prison age, then place them on display in the library. I shall also have to warn Cirrus and Achenar to stay away from them, and tell Catherine, of course, when all is finished.
Thank you, my love.
For what?
For everything. For this. And for showing me again and again that no matter how many mistakes we've made, the ending has not yet been written.
I'm always surprised by how good it feels to return home after one of my journeys. In the day, heat shimmers off the cliffs, bathing me in unexpected warmth, and at night, gentle breezes stir the lake, and I often hear Catherine singing to Yisha. The sound of their voices fills me with such joy. I find myself wondering why I ever left. Perhaps I'm more aware of this tonight, having spent so much time alone in Rhyme. The trip was unavoidable. It's been weeks since I viewed Cirrus and Achenor's prison ages, and I needed to be assured of their safety. The crystal viewer did not show much, so I began considering how I might improve it. I'm now fairly certain I can achieve a tighter image if I redesign the mechanism itself. I have yet to tell Catherine of these plans. I do not wish to raise her hopes prematurely. After far too brief a visit with my family, I have returned to Rhyme to conduct preliminary tests. The frigid temperatures in this age are vital for the crystals to function, yet I find it increasingly difficult to work in the cold. Perhaps I can find a way to simulate extreme temperatures inside the viewer itself, so that I can install it in Tomana when ready. Tonight I set aside experimentation for a few hours to watch the lights illuminate Rhyme's sky. Their beauty is not dim since first I saw them. I could not fully enjoy the show, however, for it put me in mind of Cirrus and Achenar and the months we spent here constructing the towers. Soon, what had been a happy memory for me was mired in regrets. I doubt I will ever know what caused my sons to become so greedy. I only know that when they looked at the ages described in my library, fantastic worlds that one could travel to easily simply by touching a book's linking panel, they saw only dreams of wealth and power. They devised a plan, an evil plan. When my back was turned, they linked to my ages, plundered and destroyed them. I know Cirrus and Achenar must pay a price for these crimes, yet it brings me no joy to picture them stranded on the 2 uninhabited ages I wrote to protect my library from thieves. I only hope that my sons will someday reject their wicked yearnings and find it in their heart to reform. After experimenting with several liquid gases, I have found a pressure variable that should allow the crystal viewer to function in Tomana. Tomorrow I link to Rilishan to enlist help from the Guild of Machinists. Catherine was unusually subdued when I showed her the new blueprints. She trusts that the viewer will work, but wishes we could visit our sons in person, I would like that as well, but until I'm convinced of remorse, I cannot risk their escaping. I was fairly certain the evaporator coils would work, and indeed, I was able to achieve a blurry image of Spire within the new viewer's blank book. Unfortunately, a more powerful suppressor is needed to stabilize the image. Guildmaster Andritas suggested that I install several geodes inside the roof of the observatory, and then use an antenna to focus them. This should amplify the clean frequency enough so that the crystal viewer can work. Success. Not only was I able to view both Spire and Haven, but I also saw my laboratory on Rhyme quite clearly. The crystal code for Rhyme was difficult to remember, having not had much reason to use it previously. I must make a full list of codes soon, but for now I will keep Rhymes close at hand. I always knew my sons had great potential, but today I saw something that truly amazed me. Cirrus is harnessing electricity. At least that is what I assume, for the viewer caught a brief glimpse of something I had never before seen in this age. It had to be man-made construction. A burst of interference destabilized the image before I could study the device properly, but its existence offers proof that at least one of my sons is making the most of his confinement, rather than wallowing in despair. The interference effect is curious. It has disrupted my viewing of ages on more than one occasion. Although I first assumed it to be a problem with the geodes, I now believe it to be subsonic in origin. I think the roof antenna is picking up wave fluctuations emitted by one or more ages. If this is true, I might be able to use the fluctuations to hear what is occurring in an age. I shall have to think on this carefully. It has been an exciting 2 weeks. Catherine, Yisha, and I have just returned from Rilishan, where I spent most of my time in conversations with various guildmasters. I am now convinced the shape and color of the crystals gives them individual resonance signatures. By combining the resonance of 5 crystals together, I can discover a global pattern of emissions, a sound signature, as it were, that is unique to the age being viewed. Guildmaster Andritas assisted me in drawing up plans for a filtration panel that will enable the antenna to hone in on whatever wave fluctuation I want. I truly will be able to listen in on an age. Tomorrow I begin building the panel. I have decided to use Rhyme as its preset configuration, since that is the age which first enabled me to construct a crystal viewer. The panel is finished. I'm too tired to test it tonight. Catherine tried to hide it, but the sounds we heard coming from Akinar's prison age nearly brought her to tears. Once again, I had to reassure her of his safety. My words eventually convinced her, but I know she longs for more substantive proof. I fear she may take matters into her own hands soon. I must confess, I too long for more information than the viewer is currently providing. Tomorrow I shall link to Rhyme. I have an idea for an attachment, something akin to a moving eye, that will allow me to change points of view while using the crystal viewer. If it works, I may finally be able to see if my sons have reformed. time ago, when your great-grandmother Anna first mapped this desert with her father, she looked up in the night sky and used that star to find her way home. Don't you see, Catherine? The new design means we won't have to go to Rhyme anymore. We'll be able to view our son's ages from right here. This is only part of our family tree, Isha. If we wanted to, we could trace our lineage all the way back to when our ancestors first arrived in Dani.
The poor thing. Cirrus said he tried everything he could, but it just didn't like living in his garden. A few days in here, and I bet you it will look much better. That's the 5th time this week, Atris. If you insist on blowing the power so often, then you must make sure we have some kind of backup supply. What if someone gets stuck in the elevator?
We've almost finished the linking chamber. There's just the security seal to install. But we will see our sons again soon, I promise you.